I'm going to ask you to read a story. This story is called Jackie and Her Grandma. Please read the story to yourself. When you are finished reading, I'm going to ask you to tell me what happened in the story. Begin. Jackie went to Grandma's house every Saturday. She and Grandma would spend time cooking their favorite foods. Jackie looked forward to it every week. This Saturday was different. Jackie opened the door and saw her grandma sitting with a woman. Jackie had never seen the woman before. "This is Mrs. Bloom. We were best friends as kids," said Grandma. Jackie shook Mrs. Bloom's hand. "Grandma, what are we cooking today?" asked Jackie. "We'll be spending time with Mrs. Bloom today. We'll cook next week." Jackie felt tears fill her eyes. She hid her head. She didn't want Grandma to see. Mrs. Bloom saw Jackie's tears. "I have an idea," said Mrs. Bloom. "We used to make the best apple pies together. Let's teach Jackie how to make apple pie." "We can even share our baking secrets," Grandma said. "Now, who wants to grab me some apples?" Jackie raced to the kitchen. "Great job. I'm going to take the story from you now. Could you tell me in your own words what happened in the story? Tell me the beginning, middle, and end." In the beginning, Jackie went to her grandma's house this Saturday, which she does every Saturday, and Mrs. Bloom was there. In the middle, Jackie got upset because her grandma told her they weren't cooking. And in the end, Mrs. Bloom teaches Jackie how to make apple pie. Great job. Now I'm going to give you the story again. I'm going to ask you some questions about the story. You can use the story to help find the answer. When did Jackie go to Grandma's house? On Saturdays. Who is Mrs. Bloom? Grandma's neighbor. What does Grandma tell Jackie that they are doing that day? Being with Mrs. Bloom. Why does Jackie hide her head? She doesn't want Grandma to see that she's crying. What did Grandma and Mrs. Bloom make together when they were young? Apple pie. Great job. Now I'm going to ask you some more questions about the story. Remember, you can look back at the story to help find the answer. How did Jackie feel when Grandma said they weren't going to cook today? Jackie was sad. Why did Mrs. Bloom want to teach Jackie how to make one of her favorite dishes? Because Mrs. Bloom likes apple pie. Why do Mrs. Bloom and Grandma teach Jackie to make apple pies instead of another type of food? Because Mrs. Bloom and Grandma like apple pie. Why does Jackie race to the kitchen at the end of the story? She's excited. How does Jackie feel at the end of the story? Jackie's happy at the end of the story. Okay, thank you.